Thank you for having me. It's so nice to see you and talk to you and be in your presence. And congratulations on this beautiful space that you're holding for others to share their experiences and stories and wisdom. I think it's beautiful what topic you are putting out into the world, and it's so layered and so deep, and I'm excited. Thank you.
Yeah, and people don't talk about mistakes or failures or huge messes that happen in their life. And when I bring this topic up, not many will say yes, but I am happy that you did say yes, and I'm intrigued on whatever story you're gonna share today, because I'm a believer that mistakes are what makes us different from anyone else, but also give us that unique expertise and value to the people around us, but to the world too, so we can find our calling and reach our purpose. So, do you mind just going ahead and tell us about yours? What comes to mind? What does your heart tell you that you should share?
Well, I wanted this. I started writing notes. I've been thinking about this for like 3 weeks, and I thought I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna share whatever comes up. That's how I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't wanna, I don't, and this is, and when we go into the story, you'll know why I do this now. And I already feel like I want to cry, and I don't even know what story, which story I'm gonna talk about. But I want, when you gave me the topic, and I thought, at first I was like almost pushing it away. I'm like, well, I don't operate on regrets. I don't operate on like I don't regret anything. And then
Mhm.
once that's like ego a little bit of like, no, 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 I'm good. Like everything's fine. And then you kind of go a little bit deeper. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, of course I have regrets. We all have. I have some really brutal ones, but I have really tried in my life to even like thank God, I've really tried to even unconsciously turn it into a huge lesson and like really learn from it. Like, I've had many lives and like lifetimes where I was completely different like than I am
Mhm.
now. Like same
Yeah.
personality, but like different. I hung out with, I had a time where I hung out with really, I don't want to say bad people because they were hilarious and so they treated me great and a lot of them were my good friends, but they didn't, let's just say they had jobs where they didn't pay taxes, and I was involved in, the fast life a lot, and um definitely seen things so young where it's like I wasn't involved enough to like regret it, but I definitely have turned it around being like, you know, I have to be the complete opposite. Like I want to be wholesome and real and help others and like spread awareness to being like to finding out your true self and then to also honoring yourself. So we'll get into more detail, but this is just kind of like a general as I get in. But like for example, like okay, so I hung out with bad people. I don't any longer, but what I'm going to give you a few stories and then it's going to all tie into the same thing.
Mhm.
So after I didn't hang out with bad people anymore, and they're not bad. We were all hanging out, so I can't say like I was, but I carried on my way. I went to college. I dropped out because I didn't have any more money. And my mom was like, "Why don't you take out a loan?" And I was like, "I don't want to."
Mm.
So I thought, wow, this is going to be such a big regret. Like, I can't believe I was hanging out with like the craziest people you can imagine. I've seen brutal things. I'm finally in college. Now I leave. So I start to feel like, okay, failure again. And then I was determined to find a job that would pay me more than what I would have gotten when I finished college. And nothing against college. I truly didn't have the money to pay for it. So I met up with one of my friends and she said to me, yeah, I work at a car dealership. I get paid over six figures. I'm doing paperwork. And I was like, okay, I want to do this now. and I was working in insurance. And she's like, yeah, like, and she was trying to tell me like what she did. I went home, I looked online at like jobs. I searched the job and there was an opening for someone with experience. And like I said, I had such a crazy past. I'm really rough around the edges. I'm trying to like, evolve. I'm in my early 20s. I'm getting paid $1,000 a month in insurance or a couple grand or whatever. So I go to this dealership, I walk upstairs and I go to the owner and I'm like, give me a chance. Like, I want to
Mhm.
work for you. And in my head, I'm like, I just want to make a lot of money. I don't know. Like, and he's like, okay, I'll give you a chance. And I worked 6 months like crazy. Like I had rashes all over my body because I wasn't healthy yet. So I had
Yeah.
rashes all over my body. I was getting panic attacks. I had acne. It was really bad. I worked 6 months. Then they didn't really give me the job. So like they were, but they were kind of dangling the carrot a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So then my kind of dream dealership knocked on this dealership's door and was like, we actually want Kelly to work for us. They took me. I started making my six figures. It was an absolute dream. But I felt like I was failing still because I was suffering with panic attacks. I had acne. I wasn't healthy. I wasn't eating. I overcame an eating disorder before, but in reality, I switched my eating disorder from bulimia to like eating like a bird. Like I was eating very small amounts of food, barely eating. I
Yeah.
was too busy. I was working like crazy. The money was rolling in, but I felt like I wasn't doing great, even though I was doing great in the job, but I wasn't doing well in life.
Yeah, you feel
Um,
empty.
yeah, and then I started to get, so I hope that I don't offend anybody because people can do whatever they want in life, and I encourage everyone, and I feel like, but for me, that this was really one of the things that I do actually regret, and it was a huge lesson. But after I got into my career, started getting money, I started, overly spending. I was saving money, but I was also spending as well. And I started to, compare myself and be really like a perfectionist. I started to get lip injections. I started to wear lots of makeup, and I was completely different. I
Mm-hmm.
went and got a consultation to get my boobs done and my nose done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was ready to go. Like I was working out, so then my breasts were getting smaller, so I was like, I need my boobs done. I went to one of the doctors and was like, what do you think about my nose? And he's like, oh, we'll definitely fix that. I was getting my lips and I didn't get my nose done or my boobs done, but I was getting my lips done, and I'll get into that. I was getting my lips done. And I remember every time I would get my lips done, I would look in the mirror and I would be bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even
Mm.
look the same. This was back in 2013. So this was not when it got popular. Like it was not cool. You don't even tell anyone at that point. So I was spending all this money and I was getting these things done to my face, and I'd never got Botox, but I was getting like fillers, and every time I go home I'd be crying in the mirror, and I'm just like, I don't know. My acne was getting worse. My skin was like atrocious. I was getting all these lasers and micro peels, and I was doing whatever it took to get my skin better,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was working. It was when I went vegan in 2015. So this was 2013 and 2014 when it was so bad. I switched my diet. I went vegan, and my acne started going away. I started looking in the mirror, and literally everything, like it was like time stopped. I remember looking in the mirror and I was like, I don't need to get lip injections anymore. I don't need to wear makeup anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this self-love for the first time in my life, like showered me.
Oh,
I,
it,
yeah, we went like, sorry, I'll let you go.
yeah, food is such an important fuel that we put. And not that only veganism is the cleanest thing, but when you are putting and fueling your body with live food, colorful food, natural food, your body reacts to it. that emptiness that you felt with junk food and chemicals and over processed stuff getting fulfilled. Sounds like it.
100%. And really, like, what, like, it wasn't just changing my diet. Like, changing my diet healed my acne. And then once I started to be like, okay, like I can stop obsessing about myself. I can stop
Mm,
obsessing about my looks. And but then it even gets better. Like when we were moving, well, actually, when I got pregnant with my son, I said I'm going to stop wearing makeup. I had crazy scars on my face, like crazy acne scars, like bad.
mhm.
And I remember going to work before I quit my job and I was not wearing makeup because I was just so sick of it. And I went vegan. So I was like starting to really love myself. I like felt so glowing and nourished and but my skin was so bad and I remember I would think like people are talking about me and I just thought I was like the joke of the dealership personally. Like I probably was and I'm totally fine with that now, but I really like it was affecting me. But I felt so good. Like I truly felt so good that I just didn't want to like hide myself anymore. So then when we eventually I had my baby and then when we moved to Thailand, I absolutely stopped all makeup and um my skin started healing. Like all of my acne scars went away. My lips went down, back to normal. But you know what? That and then we'll get into the regrets after. But my lips went down and my skin was like glowing. Everything's like reversing. It was like one, and this is what the lesson was basically, yes, I went vegan and it started healing my skin, but it was when I really like started to just love myself and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
done with makeup and nothing wrong with makeup. It just truly, I was just breaking out whenever I put makeup on, so I couldn't wear it anymore, but I was like, I'm just done. I feel like I want to show my whole self to the world for the rest of my life and just be like however people want to see me or accept me is okay. Like I remember flying to I was at somewhere and I remember someone said like we were chatting about something and I said, "Yeah, I used to be like kind of addicted to buying Louis Vuitton bags and Chanel." And they looked at me and they were like, "You do not look like the person that would ever buy a Chanel bag or a Louis Vuitton." So it's layers, like it really. And then I thought, oh, I should be wearing makeup. I should be showing people that I was that person. So you do go through these times where it's
Mm,
like, there are little like tests throughout the journey and I'm like, oh, like in my head I'm like, oh, I probably look horrible, like of course I don't look like that anymore. But then once you pass that level and you continue and you're like, yeah, this is me. I could be in a wedding right now at this point and I truly am just showing me and I feel like now that I stopped putting on any mask, now that I stopped, wanting to buy all the things and having the best clothes and the best outfits and the best car, the best makeup,
mhm,
I wasn't hiding behind that anymore and
mhm,
I could just show myself. And it's been honestly like the best journey on the planet. I'm actually making a workshop where I'm going to help women. I could like cry right now, but like step away from like injections or makeup or anything that they feel like they're ready to do. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it unless you personally want to get away from it, right?
yeah.
Um, but what the regret was in this journey is the like hanging out with the bad people, having bulimia, having anorexia, having all these health issues, having the acne, like really my body was just screaming to like turn around and fucking love it. Like
Mhm,
love myself and like stop like trying to cover up, trying to
mhm,
hide, trying to pay my way out of it, trying to show that I'm perfect when I'm really struggling. Like at this point in my life, the past, well, now 5, 6 years, I am just me.
mhm,
And I'm telling you, like, it is the most freeing experience on the planet. Like, so much has come to my life. Like, people, love, um, a shift in my career,
Mm-hmm.
a shift in, what I love to do, what I love to share. Like, so another regret that comes out of that as well was the lip injections and
Mm-hmm.
the injections that I was injecting also cortisone into my skin to bring down the acne. And it was
Oh,
leaving me with like dimples, and I like still
yeah.
have them in my chin mostly. But those are really bad regrets because my lips now are like kind of wrinkly and like almost like deflated looking when I had
Oh,
like the most beautiful lips before. I had this like really nice Cupid's bow, and I remember going in to get lip injections, and I was like, I just want to keep my Cupid's bow. And they're like, oh yeah, yeah, it stays. Oh, it does not. It does not stay. I had like sausage lips. It does not. So I ruined like my true beauty and how I was born for, trying to like live up to the standards of men, I'm assuming, whoever started
mm-hmm.
this. And when I see women, I definitely don't judge because I like if they want to do that, that's beautiful. I want everyone to do what they feel like doing, but I just think we are all so freaking beautiful and we have a specific vibration that only we have. We have a specific beauty only we have. Nobody else has that. And that's what we are put on this earth to share. And if everybody looks the same, or if everybody's trying to go after this look,
Mm-hmm.
that's not we're not doing anything for the world. We're meshing into kind of this blob of something that wasn't meant to be. So those were regrets that come to mind. I definitely regret that, but I feel like I had to live through the ups and downs of what I have done to come out and learn from it.
Yeah, and now you have the experience. Like you said, you have a workshop where you want to teach, where you want to guide women to come into that sense of self-love and acceptance more than everything else that we can put in the surface level to mask ourselves or to reach a standard that society or the trend or what professionalism looks like and just truly find ourselves. It sounds like you went through a huge journey into accepting yourself and then loving yourself, forgiving, because you talk about regrets, and I don't know where in that journey you are, but forgiving yourself for not knowing. I mean, I only know the Kelly since 2018. The Kelly that was already vegan. I bought your smoothie books. I bought your plant-based recipe books. And I only know you from that. I can't imagine the Kelly that wore a lot of makeup, that wore Chanel purses, was making six-figure income and, showing it to the world in a superficial level. So you went from that to a complete different person, because I do follow your Instagram, and you don't even live in the city anymore. You're living in Mexico. I mean, last month you were living in a jungle. You didn't even have a fridge. I'm like, where is she storing all this stuff?
Yeah.
You were in the jungle. That house didn't even have roofing. Like, it only had plants. And you're being plant based. You're raising beautiful children that are walking bare feet in the beach. They live the life that you wanted to have, that you desire to have, that nature life with so much depth. They're living it. So that transformation is showing not just for you, but your children. And I can't help but notice that when you said, now that your friends in your life is switching, it's amazing when we start loving ourselves, how everything around us changes. We start attracting the same kind of people, but we also start at love from others. Like, do you feel like you're more appreciated, more loved, more accepted by people than way before?
Definitely. I mean, I have a group of friends back in Edmonton that are my diehard for life. They've loved me when I was, you know, like this, and then they loved me. They love me now, so it's perfect. But I love them so much. But when you're on your journey and you're releasing any expectation, or you're just like loving yourself, and it comes out, it literally like seeps out of your pores. People know. So that now that we're traveling, all the people that I've been meeting are like my soul friends as well. Just meeting them. They're people on that are equal, like that, like my friends at home, but like they're on your wavelength of like they see that I'm loving myself. They're loving me. They love themselves. It's just super healthy. When, back in the day when I was hanging out with, the wrong people, when my story first started here, that was like the ultimate no love for yourself. And it showed who we were hanging out with, who I was hanging out with.
Yeah, yeah. People come as a gift, as a lesson. But when that teaching is done, I think it's natural and normal for them to go to the next person where they're going to be witnessing and then teaching. Or sometimes we even, and
I've
accepting that. It was
Yeah, it's
hard.
hard. It's
It's
honestly
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
There's a book that I highly recommend, and you should totally read it. It's called When It All Falls Apart. It is, and it doesn't need to be all falling apart to read it. I've read it in like the best times of my life. It's old Buddhist teachings about basically the law of detachment, but in like the
Yeah.
healthiest way, and like so much love. But that's even the detachment is also a key for what I was going through back in 2013, 2014, where it was like I wouldn't leave the house unless I looked perfect. I
Oh,
wouldn't, I was like 100, like at my wedding, I was 106 pounds. Like I'm 5'6", like 5'5", 5'6", and I was like 106, 109 pounds. Yeah, so I was like everything had to be perfect
perfect.
to
Have
me,
you
and that's
have
not
you
perfect
thought
anymore to me whatsoever, but yeah.
why do you think that happened back then? Why were you such a perfectionist on the way you looked? Why did you want to have the perfect makeup, the perfect body, the perfect, the perfect designers? Where was that coming from?
It was literally me not having the strength to show my real self. I felt like I wasn't good enough. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
rolling up in a, range with a Chanel, with a massage jacket, with a, everything's perfect, then that was my comfort. Like that was my mask. And then I was almost like unapproachable. Like people didn't even know what to say to me because I would just
Oh,
put myself in such a level of like I
perfect,
didn't
Kelly.
want to be approached. Almost like it.
Oh,
Yeah, like it actually came down to not that I didn't want to. It was like I was shy, I was insecure, I didn't know what to say. But like once I stopped wearing makeup, once I started actually nourishing my body, once I started actually, being more in nature, like moving away, it was like amazing for me. Being in nature, I was like, wait a minute, like there's so much to me when you remove every
mm-hmm.
single mask, every single like fancy thing. And don't get me wrong, it's fun buying those things, it's fun having nice things. But for me, I was using it as this comfort where I wasn't showing myself, I was hiding behind it.
Yeah. Was there a particular incident or a moment that happened with that light bulb just went on and said, hey, this needs to change? This is not right.
Um, when I got my lips done one time and they were ginormous, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, what is wrong? I was like, why do I want to do this to myself? Like I didn't know why. Like I didn't understand, like, but I kept going, and I'm like I kept getting it touched up, and I kept, and
Mm,
it's like why, like I was like, why am I doing this? I even got like my little sister to get her lips done because I'm like, oh, look, come with me. Like, we'll do it together or do what I was doing. So I'm so grateful for that. But I have to say, a lot of that also is like drinking,
Mm-hmm.
going out, being in that vibe and that scene where it's like I quit drinking about, well, I quit drinking when I first went vegan, and then I think I drank like a couple more times. So I think I've been completely alcohol free for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I started the journey 8 years ago. But I think that alcohol as well, like it actually numbs your
Yeah.
yeah, your pineal gland and the pathways in your brain. So you're just like not conscious. So I think that also, like, you're just in this thing where it's like you're just kind of going. You're not deep. You're not thinking deeper. You don't have a clear mind. And then you just kind of want to go drink again because it's like, oh, I'm stressed out. Let's go have wine. Or you make it a social thing. But like when you step out of that and you're like, actually, like I don't drink. I'm going to stay home, or I'm going to have a dinner with my friend who's going to come over and we're not going to drink. We're going to have elixirs. Or
Yeah.
when you make that shift, then you become more conscious with everything you're doing. You're like, well, if I don't drink, then I'm not going to be hungover. Then I'm not going to feel low with myself. Then I'm not going to get anxiety. Like, it's really a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Veganism definitely made me so conscious with everything I was doing, but it was also so many other steps, like waking up and being makeup free and waking up and stopping drinking. So it's like these little things that made such an impact on just like loving myself and having the high standards, like actual high standards for yourself, not high standards with Chanel. I'm saying like truly who's around me, who's healthy for
Yeah.
me, what am I doing that's good for me, what vibration am I putting out? And that's actually what I teach in my coaching. So, yeah.
Yeah. You are very aware of what you're attracting for yourself, what is good for yourself. And that wasn't just food, it was the people, it was the energy, anything around you. What started, what got into you to start being vegan? Because going vegan, like from one day to another, is not an easy task. It's
No.
a
And
whole
I was
lifestyle
eating mostly meat.
change.
Yeah, I was eating mostly meat too. I was like a big meat eater. I was paleo, so I would for about 10 years. So I would eat mostly meat
Oh,
and
wow.
vegetables and fruit and stuff. So all whole foods and then meat. And I've never been sicker. I had so many health issues, chronic headaches, IBS, panic attacks, anxiety, acne, bladder infections, endometriosis, all of it. And um, yeah, I watched a documentary one day called Cowspiracy randomly and was like, let's go vegan. And I looked in on Pinterest and I'm like, I don't even know what vegan is. I looked up and I never thought I'm gonna heal all my skin issues, I'm gonna heal all my
Yeah.
problems. I didn't even think that at all. I was just like, oh my gosh, that is such a crazy documentary. Yeah, I don't want to eat meat. And I don't know what that meant. So I went on Pinterest, I looked up um what to make, and they were like rice meals with tofu, and I was like, oh my god, Chinese food done. Like I was already making it all the time. I didn't realize like noodles are vegan and stuff, so I was like, this is perfect. So I did that, and then I went mostly raw vegan, so like really
Yeah.
fresh food. But that's all it was. Like I just started doing research on it. I just started looking into it and was like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to be eating meat, especially because I actually watched something on like YouTube, and it was like the Wu-Tang Clan being interviewed on being vegan. And I clicked on it. I was like, why are they vegan? And they said, the reason why we're vegan is because they believe in energy. And they said that when meat goes into you,
Mm-hmm.
that energy transfers. And when they're getting, killed, that fear energy stays in the meat. And then when we eat it, it transfers. And I was like, well, I got crazy anxiety and stuff. So maybe that could be why.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually what really solidified it for me. I was like, it's just the energy I don't want in my body. So then once I went vegan, after 3 months, everything went away. So I was like, I kind of have to keep going because this is kind of amazing. So that was really the catalyst for my self-love. Um, and it really like, and that's why I talk about it on my Instagram, and that's why I try to help in any way, because that really was what saved my life. Like it really did. Like I saved my life a few times throughout my journey, but what really like pivoted me to where I don't need to continuously save my life anymore was
Mm-hmm.
switching my diet and eating living foods. And yeah, that's pretty much what it's been. I've actually coached people online to help their health issues. I've helped somebody remove a few people remove their breast implants and just like completely shift their life that way, if they want to, basically, and just like help people realize that they're fucking beautiful in
Mm-hmm.
every way as they are. Whether
Yeah.
you just jumped into the pool, whether you came out of the shower, whether you've been laying in bed for 3 weeks, you're absolutely beautiful and you need to know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sweet. That's amazing. People, I'm very surprised to see how much people do not love themselves. And because of that, they have a life where they cannot be happy. So self-love is the chain that is going to start the right things to stay in place, to come into place. And I love it that you are not just talking about self-love in the spiritual side of it, but you're talking about nourishing your body with the right food. That food also is a love language, but it's a love language that you should give it to yourself. So you're touching not just spirituality, but food, nourishment, the way you talk to yourself, the things that you use, the people that you attract through it. It's very interesting. You know what I did really like as I was listening is that sounds like you were saying you were a perfectionist, but I also see in many of your stories that you actually just jump and figure it out as you go. You didn't know about what vegan was. You just saw a documentary and, oh, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
vegan. Oh, I'm just gonna change it. I'm not gonna wear makeup one day. I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna move to Thailand and then I'm moving to, and I think that is, those are the building blocks that got you where you're right now. You said I'm a perfectionist, but I don't think you're a perfectionist. I think you're a go-getter. You just jump, have so much faith in yourself. You believe in yourself so much that you just go, you figure it out as you go, and you make the best out of it. That is an amazing character that not many have. And the changes that you made, Kelly, were like day and night. There was no transition.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Because that, yeah. And you know what comes to me is like what I kept telling myself during these journeys. Like I'd show up to work with like literally like spots all over my face, redness, blotchy. And I'm in my head, I'm like, who cares what people think? Who cares? I would literally be like, who cares what people think? Who cares? Like I'd cheer it in my head. I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Whatever, who cares? Like I'd just be like, the more you say it, the more you believe it. I'm like, who cares? I don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't want to know. I don't. And like, I got so much abuse when I went vegan. Like, I can honestly say it was so bad. I used to like go home and cry all the time after dinners because I didn't heal anything. Like you
Hmm.
said, it's like I love that you brought that up because at this point I can be like I'm vegan because I cleared all my health problems and blah blah blah, but it's been 9 years, but when I would just was starting veganism, everybody made fun of me. Like everybody. Everyone was like, "Why do you think you know? That's wrong. You think you're the oh man, like I cannot even with the comments I would get.
Hmm.
It was like constant debates at dinner with some people I don't even barely know. It was like so awkward. I would hate saying it. I would try to pretend like I would just like eat and like try not to say anything, but everybody knew. So it was actually a few years of brutal. like being like social, like being in social events and stuff, it was brutal. Even dinners with your family, everybody's got something to say, or you're hectic, or you're
Yeah.
picky, or what do you know? You don't know anything. You're not a doctor. How do you? So I would just like looking back, if I was to give somebody advice, if they're going through anything that is against the norm, is trust, chant in your mind. It doesn't matter what people, who cares, who keep going, just who cares? Because I'm telling you, like, that was the biggest test, is to go past all of that craziness, and the end result was that I'm in this place now. So if I didn't go through all of that crap, I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
here now, and I wouldn't be like totally free of all my issues if I would have just crumbled to the comments that I was getting and the laughter and the making fun of me. And I wasn't invited to some things because they just didn't want to deal with me. And it was for so long. And I didn't even have I didn't have any like confidence in veganism even at the beginning. So I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing and I'm getting made fun of. But I kept
Mm.
going because you just have to keep going. There is such an uncomfortable moment in everything you do. There's
Yeah.
like this one moment where if you can move past that, that's when the heavens open up. So
Yeah.
there's always that time where it's like you want to quit because it sucks. And then once you get past it, you are like, it's amazing.
And this isn't just for diet or a lifestyle change. It happens in relationship, in the gym.
Mm.
There is a thing that we need to go, like an epitome of hardship that we need to pass by, and we feel like it's the hardest thing ever. But I like that message that you're
It
bringing up.
always feels like the hardest thing ever, and it is in that moment. But when you pass that worst part, there's always that part. It's so much better, and then you can look back because that's your calling, you know. If you feel the calling, you need to go to the gym and and people are making fun of you or whatever, like whatever it is, this is your calling. Be tunnel vision. Who cares? And you know what? They will always be your friend or your family. Do this for you, whatever is calling to you, and keep going and figure it out yourself. See what is waiting
Yeah.
for you on the other side. And if nothing
Mm.
is, well, you tried it. You know what I mean? But that's what I always like, especially after going vegan. I'm like, man, I could literally take any abuse from anybody at this point and not care like, because of that. And like I would have never, like, before going vegan, I think that was one of the things that built my confidence, because before that I was in such a shell of like, look at me, I'm so perfect, or
Mm.
I'm this and that, because like God forbid, I look any different, or like not perfect, or something's wrong. And then once you go vegan, you're kind of just like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just doing something for me, and I don't care what anyone thinks. And that was kind of the thing that just started breaking all the walls for me.
Yeah. And you surrendered. I
Yeah.
think the people that are the most scary are those people that surrendered, because they don't mind what people are saying, what people are thinking. They don't even care about the results. They just surrender and they just go through the journey. They just navigate as it comes. That is the brave person. That is such a courageous act, and you did that. Kelly, now that you're talking about the abuse of people and how judgmental people were, your children are vegan and they
Yeah.
are 5 and 7, right?
6 and 4.
6 and 4. So
Yeah.
Levi is 6, right? And they're vegan. Don't they get the same abuse as children from not just other children, but other moms? How do you navigate that? How are they navigating that?
Well, basically, one of the magical things is that they were born vegan, so they literally think this is just them. I think that you are like, it's like, it could be any, like being kind of, like not, yeah, you're just not the part of the masses. Like if you were born
They
like
just
that,
don't
you're
know.
probably more used to it. You're like, we're just different. I don't know. Like I was never different growing up. So being
Hmm.
different all of a sudden was like a lot. But my kids know that that is a different part of them. And to be honest, like I've just taught them about veganism, but I also actually tell them, this is a little bit surprising, but I do tell them that they can live however they choose,
Hmm.
and we're not militant. They've never had any animal products, and in my house, and when we're at, like when I'm taking care of them, we are vegan. But when they grow up, they can decide whatever they want to do. Like once they start leaving the home, they can do whatever they want to do. But we are vegan now. The only hard thing is though, is when we go to birthday parties and they have no cake, which is one of the reasons why I opened my cake business, because I was like, I will bring cakes and I'm good with that. So it's that there are some awkward times, but they're just
Hmm.
used to it. I actually think it's easier for them because they're still young too. Like I'm always with them, and then I'll bring cake and I'll bring food so that they don't really feel like it's much different. But I have to say, like my kids are super confident and they really are in their own power, and we work on that together every day, like because now they go to school, so every day I'm like, did you hold a boundary? We talk about boundary holding, we talk about being straight up and honest, and holding your own, what you feel. So we work on boundaries and stuff, so they're good. Like if
Mm.
one time at lunch, somebody asked if they wanted to try something that wasn't vegan, and Levi, he's so vegan, but he actually did try a piece.
Okay.
And he told me, he's like, I tried it. And I was like, how was it? And he's like, I actually like didn't feel the greatest because it was like a junk bar thing. Like, and we
Okay.
don't eat that anyway, even if it was vegan. So he's like, it didn't really make me feel the greatest. And it didn't even really taste as good as it looked. But we just talk about it. I'm like it's all good.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. That's like the only thing that he's had that isn't vegan. But yeah, that's just how we live our life, where it's like we work together. We're here to support each other, and
Oh,
we're just
that's
getting through
beautiful.
it together. But yeah, they're not embarrassed by it or anything. They will tell everybody they're vegan. They're proud of it. So at this point, it's fine.
That's beautiful. Your kids are very confident kids. They're learning to self-love, self-acceptance, and that self-esteem comes from within, not from what other people are saying. You're living your life, and that's transmuting to your children. That is amazing, Kelly. That's the big job that you're doing into finding your calling and fulfilling your purpose.
It is, and you know what? Like even the other day, actually, which was funny about leaving our purpose. This is kind of like a thing that I'd never tell anybody. But last week, I was launching the bundle that I've like been
Yes.
posting all about. I'll tell you something. So, like, this is like probably something I shouldn't be saying, but like, I was like, okay, I'm going to go hard. I'm going to talk about, like, I'm so passionate about this. I started talking about it on Instagram. And the person who says, who cares what people think and stuff, I started really posting more than I usually do. I started getting more out there on Instagram, and I had no sales. And I
Okay.
thought, I'm going to quit. I want to quit everything.
Oh.
Like it hurt. I was like, nobody really sees me in my passion, and I just like had such a low moment, and I'm sure you go through those as an entrepreneur. I've had that many times. So I sat in my car and I thought, send me a sign. Should I be like, because culinary while traveling is a very hard job.
Mm-hmm.
And some days I'm like, I like it just comes out of me and I can't hold it in. But some days I'm like, man, why did I have to pick that as a job? But so I sat in my car and I was like, send me a sign. Like, is this the path that I should be on? So I'm
Mm.
always questioning and confirming. And the next day, and I said, like, because I also do sound healing and food. So I do for my clients. So I said, send me a sign. Like, am I supposed to be doing this? Is this what I'm supposed to do to like feed my family, you know? And the next day I had like emails of sales. Thank God. And I was so grateful. And then one of my friends messaged me and said, hey, I left my singing bowls in Mexico. Do you want to have them? My whole collection of sound healing equipment. So it was like all these things kept. So I was asking for it again. Like it's not like when we hit that like milestone, like, yes, I healed all my stuff. I set up my passion. I have a business. You still go through times where you're
It
like
comes back.
insecure. Yeah, you're like, what am I doing? I'm so scared. I don't know. Like I'm insecure. I feel like crap. And then I just sit and I'm like, let's just call it in. Let's just like pray. Let's hope that this is what, and then it did show up. So just
Oh,
constantly like checking in with myself and making sure that it's what I absolutely love doing at all times. So
thank you for sharing that because I'm getting all teary and choked. People don't want to accept, right? People don't, they think, oh, I went through it and I'm healed. Oh, I'm stronger now. But that's that's bullshit. We all go like every other day. I feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? Is this it? And then going through that insecurity, doubting yourself, it's the up and down, right? And
oh
even
yeah.
if and you got a sign, you call it a sign, but then you realize that yeah, it just took a little bit of time and people started ordering things. I got people that saw my message. It just took a little bit of time. Or it was just a little bit of lack of patience. And we all it's just part of that journey. So for the ones that are listening, and it's a huge reminder for me, nothing you hit this level that you think that you have it together, then you go another level of oh my gosh, is
Yes.
it going to like it's is it gonna go balonies again, and then we reach another level and it happens again. It's the up and
Yeah.
down will always come back, and I love that you share that because
Yeah,
people
it's like why am I supposed to get sales the first day or the second
mm-mm,
day or the third? Like it's such a like thing that you put on yourself of like, well, I'm not where like I'm comparing myself to someone with like a million followers. Like it's not who are you? Who's your business? Who's your
yeah,
people? And to be honest, I just at that moment I was like sitting in my car, I'm like crying. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And I just thought, okay, screw it. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up for the 10 days. I'm just gonna show up at like I planned. Stick to the plan. Don't give
yes,
up. And I stuck to the plan. I showed up every day since literally 5 minutes ago, like before our talk. And I'm like, I'm just gonna keep showing up, and it did pay off. Like it does. You just have to stick to the plan, keep going, and call in and
yeah,
pray and tap in and check in and know that like there's ups and downs with everything you do. So
that's that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I love how vulnerable you can get, Kelly. I love how authentic your stories are, and you just smile and laugh about it. But those are the stories we need to hear. Those are the little dumb moments that we go through that are so real that if we don't push it and don't go through, they are the exact reasons why one will give up. And you haven't. I'm very, I can't say excited. I'm very curious on how this next step of the bundle and you opening up yourself and committing to yourself into showing up and actually letting the world know what your purpose is. Where is this going to take you? Like, what's your vision? I'm curious to see where it's going to take you, and I'm going to be witnessing. But you want to be a witness of your own journey, but you must have a vision. What is yours?
I love that question. I always ask people that. I'm like, what's
Oh,
your vision? What are you birthing? That's my favorite question, by the way. I like love
oh,
it
I
so
didn't.
much.
Yeah,
One time I held a cacao ceremony in Playa for all moms that are entrepreneurs, and I held it. It was totally free in my home, and I specifically invited certain people, and I went around the circle. I'm like, what are you birthing? Let's like bring it in. And
yeah,
it's like my favorite thing. But what, to be honest, this year, like I came into this year, I actually had a really bad year last year with, other my personal life and things like that. And when the year ended, I was like, okay, this is the year I show up for me. And like it's another, like you said,
mm,
it's another step of my self-love. Like I stopped wearing makeup, so I'm like, here I am. But then I was still hiding an Instagram, and I was still not fully on, and I was still not talking about my offerings enough, and like I wasn't really being super authentic on my Instagram, whereas in real life, I was authentic. So it was like another step I had to overcome. So I said, this year, I'm just taking it all off, and I'm going to show up, and I'm going to help people online. I'm going to just speak and let whoever wants to hear can hear, and whoever wants to be in like be with me can come with me. So that's what I'm literally this whole year, I'm being super authentic. Like you've probably seen on my Instagram, I'm like, I'm on right now. And I'm like,
Yes.
I actually said to one of my best friends, I'm like, I feel like I'm funny again. Like I haven't been funny in so long. Like I feel like when you go through things in your personal life, you kind of lose a little bit of that
Yeah.
personality. So I'm like, I'm funny again, kind of. But like I have a lot of offerings that I have a lot that I'm creating this year. So I'm creating a book, collaborating with one of my friends for her
Oh.
juice course. So I'm making a book with her. I'm doing an acne masterclass where I'm
Oh.
taking people from acne to fully healed in a 3 hour
Oh.
masterclass. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to be doing another masterclass on, I don't know if it's going to be eating disorders or like yeah, just like it's gonna be in some care like as a self-love
Yeah.
aspect, makeup free or something like that. And then
Okay.
I'm also doing my cake course because to be honest, like my cakes on my Instagram totally goes in, like I actually use it as my self-love as well. That is my
Hmm.
hobby, that's my passion, that's what I love to do. And that is making a beautiful cake and sitting at my table and being like, I fucking made this. It's delicious. It's actually super healthy. And this is like, I'm a queen. Like, this is like my queen cake because I love myself and I'm gifting myself this nourishment. So that's what I also teach is like, I teach others to make beautiful cakes. So it's like nourishing yourself, taking that time to feed you and not just your babies and also your babies too, but like just that like
Yeah.
bringing it in and being goddesses. So we're all like
Oh.
I'm just helping people unleash their inner goddess, and that's I have a lot planned all year. I've got like a list. So
Oh, I feel like you and I have a similar vision. We're gonna open doors for us. You're going to open door for yourself, but let people know my door is open. Open the doors for me and let me in. And you need to call it. You need to call it. You need to let the universe and people around you know that your doors are open. They can come in, but you need to get out there too. I love it. I'm so happy for you.
thank you. I feel like I like set myself on like I always say I lit myself on fire. I'm on fire and like that's that chant in my head. It doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter. And then another thing that I read a book like a long time ago and it was like no offense, but nobody really cares about you like you think.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we think everyone cares and is judging us and they
Mm.
see a difference. I helped somebody like get off makeup and injections and they're like, but people are gonna see me look different. Once they stopped, they're like, nobody even cared. I'm like, trust
No.
me, nobody cares. So I
Pe-
remind myself that.
People are busy thinking about themselves. People are busy looking at their own wrinkle, at their own blemish, at their own face. They don't have time for you. People are really selfish. If you think about how much time in a day you spend thinking about other people, judging them, and doing that internal dialogue of opinionating about them, we actually don't. I
No.
don't sit in a day and think, oh, what do I think about Kelly? Oh, what do I think about Kelly? I don't. I'm busy with my own thing.
Totally. Nobody cares. So
Yeah.
whether you're fully 100% present, being like, hi, I do this. Do you, if you want it, DM me today. Like,
Yeah.
and, or you hide behind, you're like, oh, like, and what's like, you're
Yeah.
going to be judged either way. If you're going to be judged, you'll be judged either way. So you might as well be like, hi, this is
Yes.
what I do because
Yeah.
the judgment might be, but you don't even hear it. It doesn't matter. It does not
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. And this is why you also need to show up a lot because people don't care about you. You need to show up at least 7 times with one message. Then people are gonna say, "Hey, what did Kelly say?
Yeah.
What is it that she said?" So continue. Don't give up. You need to show up, and you're gonna see that result later.
Yeah.
Keep
And
up with
it's
the
just about,
constant.
and I feel like the more authentic you are, the less it's like it's a job.
Hmm.
Because like I used to have a blog back in the day, Cashew Kelly, when I first went vegan, and I was actually making money off the blog. It was amazing. But it was mostly like perfect vegan food. Like the most perfect food photography, everything, like nothing was out of place. And I had the perfect setup, all the gear, and it was like the it would take me 6 hours to take one smoothie bowl picture by the time I make it.
Oh,
It was nuts. And it was so much work and I would get burnt out. And it was like, because you're not just being like, hi, this is what I'm eating. And the more authentic you are, you like come out and you're like, hi, sorry, my kids are running in the background, but just want to let you know something. Then that's not a job because it took 2 seconds. You're not perfect. You're just in. And I've seen you do that. I've seen you do
yeah,
stuff like that on
yeah,
yours. You're just like, just letting you know this is what's going on, but I'm running my business as well. So here you go. And that is when it's easier to put
yeah,
out that content and you're just
exactly.
being real. You're just being yourself.
And you gotta make it easy. Otherwise, you can't be consistent. If you want to make it pretty, you want to make it perfect, you cannot have consistency because we can spend 6 hours getting a smoothie bowl ready. We make it in 30 minutes and we gotta eat it.
That was before I had kids, by the way. But and one other thing with makeup too, and the diet, just to like close out that part, is when I started really nourishing my body, actually nourishing myself with superfoods. I was already drinking smoothies, but like really upping my smoothie game with like true good foods for me and not just like small amounts of food once in a while, like really nourishing big meals, beautiful, colorful food. I had like started getting this crazy glow in my skin and I just like wanted to show it.
Yeah.
So like that's actually one of the magical things about when you focus on yourself, on fueling your body, on being healthy, like truly inner, like inner health, like from the inside out, and then you're glowing, you like don't even want to like cover it up. So
And you want
it's
to
really,
share,
yeah,
you
you
want to
like want to be
show.
like, I kind of feel like my skin looks great. Like, why do I want to cover it? Like, it's like, I feel like once you start with the inner work and then it shines so much, it's like you don't even need everything's authentic. You just like everything
Yes,
has to be real because you want to show that.
very true, very true. I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we are reaching a good hour. Thank you for joining me, sharing your story, sharing, being so vulnerable, and then giving us tips on how to overcome certain emotional blockage that we have. I loved it. I want to share, I love your smoothie book. So I want to share that link so other people can download it and purchase it from you. So send me those and I'll put it in under the description when I um, upload the podcast.
Sounds good, love. Thank you. You are holding this most beautiful space. I'm so grateful and honored to watch this bloom into
Oh,
such a beautiful, like such a beautiful project for you. This is going to be big. I can feel it. And I'm
oh,
like, I'm sending it all to you. I know you're gonna, this is it. You are such a good interviewer and like, and really like this is your calling. I can see this. I feel like
mm,
this is really something big for you. So love you so much. Thank you
thank
for
you.
having me on.
Thank you. Thank you.